part where we press play, or is this the part
Do I
where
have
we
to put
just sit
pants
around
on
and
for
die?
this, or
I don't
because I'm
know how
sitting,
that
they
works.
won't see?
No, it's
Welcome,
there.
world.
Tom.
It is Thursday at 5:06 in the PMs. We are back, one down on Clickbait Sports. Brandon is not here. He's doing that whole parenting thing. I am your host, 5 Points Vids. We have to my... Oh, I got it right this time.
You
To
did
my
it.
left, Tom Grossi.
It's me.
You donated 5 G's to Ryan Trahan and
His fundraiser.
Yes, his fundraiser. Yeah, you did not donate $5,000 worth of super chats. Very heartwarming story. What compelled you to drop $5,000?
Yo, that content for like the past month has been like carrying YouTube. Like it was just good stuff. It was wholesome stuff. And I've worked with Feeding America before. So I saved up a couple of weeks of super chats from the Q&As and I decided to give it to a needy cause.
Can you guys expand on this? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. So
Wow. Apparently,
Ryan, yeah,
Oh,
he's
go
everywhere.
ahead.
Yeah, Ryan Trahan's a big creator on YouTube. He's like about to hit 10 million subs. And he was crossing the country with 1 penny. And like everything that he made a profit off of or to get to the next town had to come out of that penny. So like he would sell stuff or trade things or whatever. And it ended today. So yeah,
Gotcha.
but it was, and he's doing it all for charity.
So apparently
nice.
Scooter, I just found out Scooter lives under a rock for the last 30 days.
guys, have you been
Not-
following this? This is literally like I know who that is, and I know I've seen some of his videos. I did not know that this was a thing that was ongoing. Chat, did you guys know about this?
I think the chat knows about this. I'm just willing to bet that the chat knows about it.
We're
It's
doing
been
a
all
poll.
over the Twitters. It's been all over. Anyways, down below me, I got Scooter. What's been going on with you, Scooter Magruder?
Oh my gosh. I could tell you a litany of things, but what I can tell you right now is that we have a free agency NBA video that we need to start writing and getting to, and this one's gonna be a spicy one because already some things are in play, some things are happening, and I'm excited for this one. I think this is gonna be one of the best free agencies maybe we've seen in the past 15 years. Buckle up.
you kids
You think it's
just hear
going
the
to be
Shams
better
bomb.
than last year's?
Oh yeah, better than Kawhi's. Okay,
Well, 19 was a very, very fascinating year. Lots of Woj bombs. And if any of you haven't noticed, Jalen Brunson is now a New York Knicks. So Dallas, unfortunately, you have my sympathies. Your team is screwed.
Tree. We have
Yes.
our 4th co-host, Tree. What's been going on with you?
Not much, just busy. You know, fun times happening at the old Yinzer wood shop shed area. And I don't know. Maybe I'm like they still upgraded me and I'm still okay. I'm just doing stuff.
Doing
Good
stuff.
times. Yes.
Good times. All right, let's get into the show. Producers, don't forget. Yes, there you go. To put the thing on there. Let's start with the main topic of the show, which is
Where's Perna?
UCLA. Oh, Perna is not here. I told you.
There's your topic. Like, where in the world's Brandon Perna?
Which, by the way, before we dive into this, because people have been waiting with bated breath. So I was sent the Bigfoot erotica book. People have been. I don't think you want me to show this thing. It's not a family show anyway, but it's not going, but the opposite of that for Bigfoot. And I read a couple of pages and every page is bad. Like every page is bad. 5 was on air with Perna when the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. And I read a couple of pages. It was bad and it was problematic. So whenever Scooter gets that fine book and then 5's going to paint it, it's going to be a beautiful day.
So
Yeah.
I actually
I'm Brandon Perna now. Hey, I'm a Brandon Perna. Hey, the
Spot on.
Denver Broncos. John Elway's the best.
Are we calling you Buffalo
look-
Brandon? Are you skinning Brandon alive and taking his followers?
Yeah, I'm just here to impersonate Brandon Perna.
Actually, you know what? You look more like Bigfoot. Are you into kink erotica?
I am the erotica now.
Yes.
So I wasn't aware of this plan to get that particular book. So
You don't
I
have to get that
actually,
one, but
I went and I purchased a book, an audio book on Bigfoot. What is it called? Let me get the full name for you real quick. The Bigfoot's Mate.
Oh.
A gay paranormal romance with fur. Okay, so if you guys would like me to read, I've already picked out the excerpt.
Can we get a little excerpt? Just a tease, please.
Okay, do you have the paint ready or
I don't have the paint ready. I don't have the
Okay.
canvas.
Scooter's ready, but Five's not ready.
Wow.
Come on.
I can
Five,
draw.
Chat, this
Five.
is not on me, chat.
Five.
This is not on
We
me.
are
That's
removing
not on
you
Scooter.
until you
Listen,
get your paint ready.
Listen,
I
I
can't-
forgot. I did not know, Scooter, that you had the book.
We
I was
got the
not
book,
aware.
bro. We got
You
the
got
gay
it.
romance.
I can draw it. I can draw it for sure. I've got a sketchbook here. This is not what we expected, but I will draw.
No,
what I
we get an
hear.
excerpt today, and just an excerpt, right? Like
Okay.
a little tease, and then we'll
Okay.
get the full thing next week.
And I
Okay,
will
that's
look
fair.
like Bigfoot as we do that.
Listen, chat, you guys are wild for this. Stop. Please do not do any more future
Awkward. Dude, it already
things like
is.
this. Okay.
Little
I have a
excerpt.
veto. Okay, I do have a veto. Keep that in mind. The heck is wrong with y'all?
Hold on. You know what? Real quick, don't start reading yet. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait. Hold on.
Also, for those of you who are memorizing Matthew 6 with me, y'all got another month. I didn't get it all committed to memory. Y'all get another month, okay? No excuses this next month.
I just
And
wanted
then
to light a
Scooter's
candle.
Going to go from this to
He
just
cites
dead.
Matthew 6, and then he reads this.
Yeah, he's going to go to this. That's what happens when you read Bigfoot.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, let's just set the story up so far. I skimmed through the first pages, so we're not coming in blind. Okay.
they
Listen,
will
we're
be
gonna
after
get the
Bigfoot
Eagles
does.
jersey. Give me some time. Okay. A lot of stuff is happening right now. I will be wearing an Eagles jersey going around soon. Okay. We will get to all of that. But let's set the story for this. What is this called?
We need some erotic bed music.
Gay Bigfoot, I think is what it's called.
Okay, so let's just set the story. Two scientists, researchers, archaeologists, I'm not really sure. They're on a plane and they crash. Okay, this is from chapter 2.
There it
They've
is.
already met this creature. Okay, and they're starting to communicate with this creature. They learn that this creature, there's a lot of them. It's not just one, it's like a race of these people and a species of Bigfoots. And so this comes in as he's analyzing more of the Bigfoot. Okay, he's up close, and one of the two researchers. Okay.
Thank you for the
Names of the
context, Scooter.
researchers are
Yes.
Till and Ramsey.
Till and
Till and
Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Bill and Ramsey. Ooh.
Okay. Ooh.
Ramsey stared at that face. If it weren't for all that hair, Till would probably look like a big brute of a guy with the wide nose. I think Till is the character, the Bigfoot character here. Okay, name.
Got it.
Till would probably look like a big brute of a guy with a wide nose, full lips, and a heavy brow.
Oh yeah.
His expressive golden eyes were full of sympathy, and he nibbled on his bottom lip as he worked. He brushed a lock of hair out of his face with the back of one big hand before continuing to spread the paste across Ramsey's lower abs. This was like he got injured. Relax, not that type of paste. He got injured. He was like... When the lock fell again, Ramsey combed it back. Till met his gaze. For a moment, they stared at each other.
Fine, what are you doing?
Feather-like touch on Ramsey's skin right there, just above his navel. Suddenly felt less like medical attention and more like seduction.
Okay.
With heat pooling low in his belly, Ramsey gulped a bit to realize he was getting aroused by Bigfoot. Come back next week We'll finish that.
Wow. Oh, something
All right,
will.
hold on.
Wow.
Wow.
I think I got
Chat,
this.
this is what you guys buy with your chats. If you're
Yeah,
just joining, if this is your first time
This is
ever
first Clickbait
watching
Sports.
this, I'm sorry. It doesn't normally go like this. But this is what they chose for my punishment last week.
Yes,
Scooter, can I ask you a serious question?
Go on.
Have you ever before right now said the word naval?
I don't think in like a
And I'm not
belly
talking about
button
Naval Academy.
capacity. I don't think in a belly button capacity. I think like if I'm talking about naval, it's like army, military. Who says naval? Like I'm not so sure. I'm not certain.
Okay.
All
My
right,
gosh,
I
though.
think
I
I
think
got
that's
this.
a new channel for Scooter. I mean, you read that beautifully. The context was wonderful. I mean, I know you're memorizing Bible verses right now. I'm just saying there could be a market for it.
Chat, would you subscribe to that channel? Comment 1 right now if you would. 2
I'd
if you would
subscribe
not.
twice.
And 3 if you're just here so you won't get fined. Can
I
we
think
move
we
on
just-
to a subject
hold on, I
that
gotta
does
show
not
you the drawing.
include Bigfoot?
He sketched it.
I sketched
Yes.
out the scene here. I think this is what was going on.
That's
Dude,
actually
the
little-
balls.
pretty good.
There's a little bit of arousal happening. I went a little too high on his touching there, but you know,
It's
this
like
is our
he's-
researcher here. He's
Yeah.
you know, he's nerdy, he's got glasses on, and then this is obviously Bigfoot. Bigfoot needs to lose a little weight, you know. He's been
Hey.
enjoying
He's just
Bigfoot is
fluffy.
And then-
Bigfoot's just trying to force push the soul out of that man's body, and that's why
Yes.
his member is just really ready to
I'm
rip
trying
out
to
his pants.
figure
That's,
out- How many people have bought this book? Is there a way we can figure this out somewhere?
I just
because-
can't wait for the cookies that you're gonna get that are gonna promote this stuff. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait. I see you bought Bigfoot erotica.
Yeah, like I had to sign up for a service to get this. I gotta like get out of this service now. We're done.
The
We are
ads
done.
that you're gonna get served.
Well, you
from
ain't done, baby.
Whip.com.
the rabbit hole only goes deeper and deeper, and
not the
deeper,
only hole.
just like Bigfoot.
Oh yeah,
What are
that's
we
what
doing,
she
bro?
said.
What
Mhm.
are we doing?
All right.
That's our
let's,
show, guys.
let's
Yeah,
talk about the big news. And I mean big literally. So UCLA and USC have opted out of the Pac-12 and it's pretty much official. They're going to join the Big Ten, which is what? How many teams is actually in the Big Ten? Like
I think it's like
14?
13 or 14.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably 16 now.
It's false advertising.
So yeah.
Well,
This
that's why they
leaves-
call it the B1G. That's why they call it that now.
This leaves a lot of questions, right? What's going to happen to the Pac-12? These are the two, well, one of the biggest schools, arguably, in the Pac-12, USC. UCLA is just kind of there. And then that's question number one is what's going to happen to the Pac-12. Question number two, what happens to the Rose Bowl? You know, the Rose Bowl has been seen now more often as just a playoff venue, not the sanctity of the Rose Bowl is kind of no more. It's not the winner of the Big Ten versus the Pac-12. And then the last question is there going to be a super conference? You know, is this the precursor to a super conference in college football? So let's tackle what happens to the Pac-12.
Well, let's start here. Okay. I can sort of start. I have some knowledge in this college football area. And we're going to start with there is already a super conference. It is the SEC. Okay.
Oh.
Texas
Oh, yes.
and Oklahoma are
Oh,
coming
yes.
over. This is the one conference to rule them all. Everyone's just trying to catch up to the SEC with these moves. USC and UCLA, the Big Ten is inching closer and closer to that. The Big 12, okay, what are they going to do now as well? You got Oklahoma out, Texas out. These big boys are now joining your rivals. So it's not just like the Pac-12 is the only one that needs to scramble right now. It's a lot of other teams, a lot of other leagues are looking, saying, what are we going to do? Even the ACC. The ACC is not that competitive. That's a two-team league for the past several years. So we might even see teams like Notre Dame come into more contention as far as maybe joining an ACC down the line. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to be more consolidated and more consolidated. The next 5 years, there might only be 4 leagues when it's said and done, period. Might even be 3.
Did Texas, they're still in the Big 12, or did they?
They got 2 years. I think it's a 2-year buffer period before they join the SEC, both Oklahoma and Texas.
So these conferences are just poaching the 2 best teams, and they're leaving all the other scraps to just stay there. Like,
this is how it went with the Big East. That's how the Big East fell apart. Remember, in 2003, 2004, Virginia Tech, Boston College, and I believe Miami went to the ACC. And then the ACC started poaching like a couple other teams. Syracuse and Pitt came there mostly for basketball. And then a bunch of other teams went to either, the Big 12 in the case of Rutgers. A couple other teams went to MAC or the AAC, the All-American Conference. It's a mid-tier school right now. That's how the Big East died. And I feel like that's the way the Pac-12 is going to go now. Like some teams will get poached by the Big 12. I can see, Arizona State and Arizona going there. And then the Mountain West will probably take on a couple other things. And then Conference USA will probably take a few others.
Yeah, but that doesn't preclude or exclude, the Pac-12 from promoting a couple more schools,
Yeah, they'll poach the mid-tier schools and we repeat the process.
Here's the big question. Okay, the question that remains is, what does Oregon do? Okay, that's the biggest team left in the Pac-12. That, if you think about it, is the only team that's been relevant for the past couple of years that's still in that league. You think Pac-12, who's competing for championships? It has not been USC.
No.
USC's been down bad. Oregon is still down bad, but you go back a couple of years, they were up there. They could have won national championships. They just never put it together. So it's going to be fascinating to see how all of this happens. It's going to be fascinating to see how NIL plays out with all this stuff now too.
IRL.
Exactly. NIL, IRL. It's just like, would you want to go to a Pac-12 team knowing that like the competition that you're playing against is not going to be highlighted? I'm not sure.
The one thing that is becoming more obvious to me is that geography just no longer matters with these conferences, right? It's like, all right, we'll fly out to the West or whatever. We'll play. We got to travel all over. Money seems to be no object. Especially, it used to be that these conferences formed because of regions, right? Now, look at the SEC, right? They added Missouri, they're adding Texas, they added Texas A&M. Like they just money does not matter. To these squads.
Regionally, that's not. That's still kind of the South if you think about it.
Yeah, but they're
Missouri,
they keep pushing west.
They'll probably add Clemson. So Clemson, Florida State. There you go.
So if the SEC adds like an Arizona, or a team that's in the Mountain Time Zone, are they really the Southeastern Conference anymore?
They'll rename into something like the Super League or something.
Yeah, that'll go well.
I am also very interested to see how this plays out in regards to HBCUs. Like what's going to happen with Deion Sanders teams? Like what happens if they see a lot of success? We're already seeing some recruits choosing, I don't want to go there. Let's try out the HBCU teams and see how that plays out. We are living in fascinating times, ladies and gentlemen.
They might actually prop up to D1.
Yeah, so how all this plays out is going to be. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys. I'm just sitting back and watching. As long as the Gators get their guys, I'm good.
I'm seeing something in the chat, which is a great question. What happens to Notre Dame? Do they finally cave and join a conference?
Not until they lose that exclusive TV deal.
Right. Or do they live?
Why would they? If you're Notre Dame, why would you join a conference? Because now you got to play a conference championship game, right?
Yeah. And then people are going to realize you're frauds not until the last week of season.
You're getting voted in the top 5 every year for doing nothing, the bare minimum for beating teams you should beat. You're ranked top 5, top 10 every year. I'm Notre Dame. I'm just saying, I'm waiting.
Well, yeah, they have a good gig, but after a while, right? Is it worth it to a team that's in the Pac-12 or in the Big Ten to schedule a game with Notre Dame? If you're gonna have to play other guys on your schedule that are all as good, if not better. And you're just like, why do I waste my time with Notre Dame in a non-conference game that gets me nothing, no value?
Well,
whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure doesn't Notre Dame currently play an ACC schedule? I think they do. They play like an alternating ACC schedule.
No, it's still completely open in the way I
Someone in the
understand
chat
it. They just
fact check
schedule it
that.
every year. Now they play in the ACC for basketball. I know that because they're little bitches and they're just like, oh, we gotta join a conference for basketball, but we got this great gig in the NC in football where somehow we get to the Final Four every year by playing cupcakes and we get smashed into oblivion like Bigfoot and his researcher boyfriend. That's what happens every year. They get the medical jelly applied to their abs, and then the next thing you know, Notre Dame is out of the playoff.
Notre Dame has ACC opponents locked in until 2037. So they do play a rotating ACC schedule.
Then they should just join the ACC. They like a dude with the side chick. They get all the benefits, but none of the commitment.
Tom, if you
Yes.
had to root for a college football team, who are you rooting for this year?
I mean, my grandfather was a really big Notre Dame fan,
Wow.
but like Wisconsin is there, so like I'll root for Wisconsin just because it's Wisconsin.
I'm with it.
I hear that is
okay. I'm with it.
heck
No,
of a
no
scene down
objections.
there.
But I got to be honest, I'm not going to really be following any college football.
Let's move on so we can get Tom in these conversations.
Hey, listen. So you were talking about ACCs and NAACP.
Listen, I get it. It's like hockey.
All I'm going to say
learning.
is the FCC won't let me be. So let me see. They try to shut me down on MTV.
They did.
But it feels so empty without me.
It does feel so empty without
And that's
you.
what I have to say about college football.
Does this look like a job for you?
That's fair. That's fair.
Because you need a little
Five.
controversy.
What's next on the docket?
Let's talk about these free agents in the NBA. So there'll be a lot of questions with college football. We'll see. But the two things that were hilarious to me were people not understanding what an option is, and the fact that Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving would opt in to their team's deal. Instead of, they called their teams bluffs, and they are getting paid lots of money. Okay.
Because let's be real, they're not going to make as much money on the open market.
No,
That's
especially
why.
Westbrook. Westbrook opted in. So basically, for those of you that don't follow the NBA, Westbrook came to the end of his deal, and they were like, you can opt in for the 5th year for $44 million or test the market and get 3 years, $10 million. And he was like, I can play one more year, make $44 million, retire, laugh at everyone. Y'all can call me Westbrick as I sit on the bricks of money. And to every Lakers fan dismay, he opted in and was like, give me $44 million, and good for him.
Okay, here's my question. Why the heck would he not? Why would he not sign this contract? You're offering him less money over 3. Make it make sense. What individual is saying no to this 1 year, $40-something million contract? I don't understand. What is he supposed to do?
To me, it's the ultimate FU to the Lakers, because they have wanted to get rid of him basically since they brought him there. And he was like, nah, not only are you going to hate me, you can't trade me because I'm making $44 million. No one's taking on my contract. And you have to pay me $44 million. It's just brilliant.
Let's set this up too. In addition to Kyrie opting into the Nets, you also need to keep this in mind. It's been reported that Woj was saying that they were not in contact with each other when Kyrie made his decision. He was not. Kevin Durant had no idea. And it also was being reported that Kevin Durant has now requested a trade the day after Kyrie Irving signs his opt-in. And now, additionally, it's being reported that they both want to play together, just not in Brooklyn. This is literally what's happening, and it is wild. I can't believe it's happening, and I'm just going to sit back and see how it plays out. Tree, how do you think this is going to play out?
I think Kevin Durant, he's going to want to go back to the University of Texas, form a super team. Either that or he is going probably to win another ring. Just watch him go back to the Warriors.
Here's my thing. Kevin Durant, unless he wins another championship on another team not named the Warriors, will always be under this shadow of Steph Curry. You can't do it without Steph. No matter how many more championships he wins, if he does not win on a team where he is that dude, Charles Barkley is going to be roasting him, and Charles didn't even win a championship every season, saying you couldn't do it on your own. You needed help. I'm okay. I didn't get a championship, but I stood on my own. I stood on my own 2 feet. I'm a man, and I didn't win. You had to go. You had to have all this help. You couldn't do it on your own. And whether that's right or wrong, that is exactly what will happen should KD not end up on a team where he's the guy winning it all. It's already happening. It will continue to happen.
The
I
thing,
hope it does.
the
I
thing
don't
with
know.
this, with KD requesting the trade, is there's never been a time where it's not obvious where he's going. He could literally end up with one of all 30 teams. Like he could end up on the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks want to trade for him, but he could end up as a Knick. He could be a Hawk. He could be playing for the Avalanche. Who knows where KD's going to end up? All we know is that he requested a trade and he's going to go somewhere. It's interesting, though, that you say that he wants to play with Kyrie. It kind of sounds like KD was the roommate that found out that Kyrie is renewing his lease, and he's like, "Nah, I want to move out. I don't like him."
Well, what also makes this
shaving his
interesting
pubes.
is that he listed his top locations. Kevin Durant did, and at his number one, he had the Phoenix Suns at his number one location. So it's just interesting because
let's be honest, though,
they
is
have
he
some
the
assets.
same? Is he the same player? Does he have the same value, the impact that he did when he went to the Warriors? No.
Maybe not. But if he goes to a Phoenix Suns team that I think should have been playing in the Western Conference Finals, should have been competing at a higher level, I think that takes them. That gets them over that bump. And
My
moreover,
biggest question, though, is what Tom thinks of all of this. I want to know what Tom Grossi thinks. Where do you think Kevin Durant plays next year, Tom?
and how does this affect the Milwaukee Bucks and moreover Giannis's legacy?
Scooter, I'm so glad that you asked because the Milwaukee
was me.
Bucks do not need Kevin Durant because we just drafted a man whose name is so French, I grow a French mustache as soon as I say it. I am, of course, talking about Masson. That's how you pronounce it. It's the correct way. Anyway, I just find it very amusing because last year I went to 2 Nets games because it was the playoffs games in which they were playing the Bucks. Those were my first 2 basketball games, right? Ever since that day, the Brooklyn Nets have been sending emails. Their head of ticketing has called me on at least 4 occasions on my cellular device. Don't know how he got that number, but have called me asking and kind of begging for me to buy season tickets or just to purchase tickets to their games. When I was in Brooklyn, everyone around me was not a Brooklyn Nets fan. Like, they had Lakers fans that were there. They weren't even playing. They had Bucks fans that were there. They had Knicks fans because nobody roots for the Nets. Because as a New Yorker, I at least know about the Knicks, but nobody cares about the Brooklyn Nets. Half the time, Jay-Z is on his Zune. He's not even paying attention. Okay?
Is this real?
Yes. Everything I said was real except maybe the Zune part. He probably doesn't have a Zune anymore.
He might have an iPod.
Do
He
they
might have
even
an
do they even make Zooms?
Yeah,
anymore?
the Walkman maybe. But
I didn't
everything
know it was
else
like that.
is 100% true. So
I didn't know it was
all
like
I know is that he's not going to the Bucks. We don't want him on the Bucks.
that.
But
You want him on the Bucks.
but
Everyone wants him on.
the Packers might need a wide receiver. So if KD wants to try out, that's fine.
Knicks will take them.
That's fair. Some other news: John Wall signed with the Clippers. He got a buyout from the Houston Rockets.
Right.
He said, "I want to go play with the Clippers." So the Clippers could be a problem, or maybe John Wall, who hasn't played in a couple of seasons, might not be the John Wall who we've come to know. We will find out, though. We'll see. How that
Bradley
plays out.
Beal got his bag. A lot of moves today that we can't cover. We can't cover them all. Just like Kevin King can't cover them all.
Dang, I was gonna try and think of like a DB we could just
Yeah.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Can't cover.
Eli Apple.
Yeah, Eli Apple can't cover them all, especially when it
Anthony
matters.
Brown. Can't
All
cover
right,
him.
yeah. Another piece of news.
Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs can't cover him. This only for interceptions. Only for
Scooter, we got to make a bet for week 10.
Absolutely.
Oh, whoa!
God.
What happened
Yeah.
here?
Whoa! Oh, God,
2012.
please don't be
There you
me.
go.
Right? That's not me,
That's
right?
Not me. It's not me. Yes.
Oh, thank God. Wait,
Bro.
who is that?
Please be.
Is that
alive.
Scooter?
Who is that? That's me. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
20, baby!
Yes. I'm free.
Oh, man.
Mm.
Oh, Scooter, can we
Victory
talk
is
about
mine.
that for a hot second?
Beast
Can we
of
talk
metal.
about the Lightning?
420.
Because as you know, I went to one hockey game my entire life recently, and I
You
wore a
jinxed
Packers
both
shirt.
teams.
But I did watch a bunch of NHL playoffs because it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it.
You did.
But like,
Yes.
is it just like bias or preconceived notion? It just seems the Lightning were complaining about everything, especially in the state. Like, it just seemed like everything. Like there was at the goal, and they were just like, referees, you right there. He was doing something.
Okay.
It just seemed like
Too many
it
men.
did.
Yes. I've saw a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of non-Lightning fans, non-Bolts fans saying stop complaining. But you also have to keep in mind that there were some egregious missed calls. Okay. There were some egregious missed calls for the
Sure.
Lightning that were rightfully, like, we should have been complaining. Others, it was up in the air. So it's like you just gotta take everything in what's the phrase?
Stride?
Take it in stride.
Yeah, take everything
Yeah.
in stride, because it's like
You can't break
there
them on
were
stride.
some legitimate calls that we were like, bruh, when they scored one of their goals on the game-winning game, that should have been called a penalty, and it wasn't called a penalty. Everyone was freaking out and upset. What ended up happening, though, is
Icing the kicker.
one of our players, then he was so mad that they didn't call a penalty and that they scored, he ended up breaking his stick across one of the Avalanche defenders, the Avalanche players, and that would have been a penalty in the regular season. But it's a Stanley Cups. You can't call stuff like that. So rightfully so, Avalanche fans were very upset because what the heck? You're breaking a stick over someone because you didn't get a call? So there was a lot of complaining, but some of it was fair.
You lost.
What did you guys see? Like 5 and urinating true. What did you guys see in that last game? Because I thought we were going to be going to a game 7. I thought it was initially we had all the momentum, and then we just got worn down, and we just looked slow and tired in the end. We were not able to sustain, really. That's really what I saw. What did you guys see?
Tree, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I'll weigh in here. My main thing is you're talking about having too many men on the ice when you got away with the same thing against the Islanders last year. You had 7 men on the ice. I feel like Tampa Bay was just beaten. Remember, I said last week Colorado was going to lose game 5 because there was just too much bad juju and karma going on there. They would win game 6 because I feel like they didn't want to take it back to Colorado. The Avalanche played a very dominating game, especially in their defensive zone. I think they only let up like 2 shots in 15 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So, I mean, to be fair, McKinnon had a great shot. I think the second shot kind of went off somebody. The only way you were beating Bassey was with deflections. So, I feel like, I mean, Colorado earned the win. That's all I can say.
I got to bring Brandon Perna back for this because he's not here. I gotta.
I wanted to ask Five a question.
His dunking in though.
I wanted to ask Five if the Rangers would have won or at least made it more competitive.
No, the Rangers would not have won. They were outmatched. The Avalanche were so good in this series. They took a team that beat the Rangers pretty handily and pretty much dominated them. So this is all. I'm gonna be Brandon Perna now for a second. This is all I have to say. Scooter, I have to think about what you said about the penalties, and the only thing I can really say to that is suck it. Avs are the Stanley Cup champions. I am a 5'3" little man who has nothing to celebrate in life other than the Avalanche winning.
Bro, they got Russell Westbrook.
They got Russell Wilson. Do you know
They
how
got
happy
Randy
he is?
Gregory. There's a lot of celebration in Denver.
No. Listen, I am Brandon Perna here. And Scooter, your team lost.
They did.
Now deal with it.
I'm dealing with it.
That's all I have to say about that.
The mannerisms are pretty good. I will give you the mannerisms.
All right. Thank
Tree,
you.
and when Five can come back, Tree, can you let me know? Like, I've been trying to like follow some hockey, start following the right people so I can get more knowledgeable about the subject. But set us up for
Tree
next
was one of those
season.
guys.
Can you just tell us like what will the Lightning look like? Who's going to be leaving? What are the teams that are going to be in play next season?
I will take this. Lightning are going to be in trouble. You're running out of cap space. Ryan McDonough is going to be a casualty. He's getting old, but this is now the Rangers' time. The only team that was better than the Rangers this year was the Lightning. So if the Lightning get a little worse and the Rangers get a little bit better, me and you, Scooter, gonna be beefing. It's gonna be us and y'all next year in the conference finals.
Well, you're also probably losing Andre Palat. He's a UFA this year, so he's gonna get some coin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but you'll still have Cooch.
I saw that like a lot of the people were saying it would not be unreasonable for us to be back next year. It's still possible for us to come back and be very competitive next season. So I am hopeful for the future. We'll see if John Cooper can right the ship and we can get things going. We did lose, but Stamkos did light McKinnon up egregiously.
Egregiously. I'm just wondering when the decline for Stamkos comes. He's been so good for so long that, he might have 3-4 more really productive years, but you're going to lose parts. You're going to lose Corey Perry. Maroon might be gone. Role players are going to be going.
How do you go to this? Imagine a football player going to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row on 3 different teams and losing every year. That's Corey Perry in the NHL.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. But he does have a ring, so he's not too upset.
F's in the chat.
Yeah, and also like he tried for the Marian Hossa challenge. If you remember, I think it was a little over 10 years ago. Marian Hossa got traded to the Penguins, lost in the Cup. Defects to Detroit, goes to the Cup, loses to the Penguins. Then he goes to Chicago and finally wins a Cup and wins 2 more. So,
well, then
maybe he was trying for that.
Be a Ranger. Mm-hmm.
No, actually, he's going to be a Penguin, and then they're going to lose in the finals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last
AD to the Penguins.
Last kind of big story, and then we can do a little laundry list, is
I think
Deshaun
Anthony
Watson.
declared.
We talk about Deshaun Watson all the time. His disciplinary hearing is wrapping up. This rumor that is pervading the Twitter sphere is that the NFL would love for the judge to hand out a 1-year suspension. I don't understand. Tom, maybe you have a better grip on this. Why is he in front of a judge? Like, why isn't he in front of Roger Goodell in his office? I don't understand what is going on with this trial or what explain it better to me, Tom.
If I'm not mistaken, and I very well could be, I mean, because there's all the legal issues, right? I'm assuming this disciplinary thing is going to be what the basis of the NFL's punishment is going to be. So I've heard a year, but then there was also the NFLPA getting concerned that it was going to be indefinite. And that was kind of making its way around last week about how they might not even put a date on it. So, I mean, I think what's going to wind up happening is he's going to get probably an indefinite suspension. They'll appeal it and it'll wind up being like 1 season. But there's a part of me that goes, if it's indefinite and it goes for longer.
So what is the reasoning? Is that like the NFL sort of leveraging them to be like, all right, you put it as indefinite and then we'll get it to what it should be, and then we don't look as bad.
Well, he's going to appeal like regardless. So,
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. So they could give him a year, they can be indefinite, they can give him 8 games. He's still going to appeal. So, I mean, it's just going to be.
It pisses me off that Watson would only get a year and then a huge guaranteed contract when, like, if you follow Major League Baseball, like Marcell Ozuna was on tape, like beating someone up, right? Was that right, Tree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, he was on tape beating someone up. Only got like 29 games. Trevor Bauer had consensual sex and got 2 years for that.
Plus 2 years.
Plus. It's just so...
For consensual
It's so
sex?
punitive,
Yes.
dude. It is so punitive.
What is
So
that?
she alleged that he roughed him up, and he was not charged criminally. He was not, and then there's a pending lawsuit, I believe, but they gave him 2 years for allegations from one person.
So this
and
is okay.
It's incredibly
That's the thing, though.
imbalanced what happened to Trevor Bauer when you see what's happening to Deshaun Watson.
Whatever the NFL does, though, like because of past precedent and also like people that are currently in their league and of course what's going on in other leagues, they cannot make a good decision. Like whatever it is, right? So you could say that it's a year, you could say it's 8 games, you could say it's indefinite, and then that gets brought down to a year, 2 years, what have you. There's no ruling that the NFL can give out that is going to make everybody happy. No. There's just no way. I mean, the only thing that I can see, but I don't think that they're going to do, is if they say like, hey, like it's an indefinite suspension. We'll see if like new information comes out, because now there's still, I believe, 4 lawsuits, because 20 out of 24 settled, right?
Yep.
So there's still 4 lawsuits left. I mean, I don't know how they're going to handle this, but it's going to be bad regardless. So yeah, that's what I'm like. The NFL is going to be based off of that. That's what my understanding was, that they're just going to base the punishment off of what the judge says. So yeah, I mean, considering what they've done for things like pot and domestic violence
and gambling.
Yeah.
When you're
gambling,
not even, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. If he gets a year, people are going to explode, because Calvin Ridley, who had no interaction with the team and what have you, got suspended for a year, and they're going to be like, that's comparable. So there's no.
I saw online that they were floating a year for every woman. Is that just out? Nothing you guys have been seeing?
That's a little excessive.
That's what I saw. I don't
Every
know if that was true or
unsettled
not.
case.
Yeah,
I think
like
that's
literally.
also another angle, is that they are trying to expedite Watson settling these so that they're done, and that there's none of this hanging. So that the NFL can be like, there's no lawsuits anymore. There's no pending litigation. Like they want him to. They're like forcing his hand.
Yeah, but the Browns, that's what it said here. Like the Browns, literally, that's why they gave him the salary of $1 million, right? Because they're anticipating him getting suspended, and so he'll still get his guaranteed money, which is
that'd be hilarious if he plays on appeal next year for $1 million and then gets suspended the second year.
They postpone it.
That would be the most funny thing that I could think would happen, and he gets injured.
Do you actually think he's playing this year?
I don't know. I mean, it's looking like he might play. Should be playing the end of the year, but for the most part, I don't think he's going to play a full season. It's going.
I don't think he plays a game this year. I do not think Deshaun Watson plays a game this season.
And then they beg Baker Mayfield to play.
No, he's gone.
Okay, what's more likely? Deshaun Watson to play a game for the Browns this year, or Baker Mayfield to play a game for the Browns this year?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun. Easy Deshaun. I think
Yeah,
Baker
Baker's
is
better.
either a Panther or a Seahawk.
Yeah, Baker might even pull a Carson Palmer and retire to get
He's
out.
not going to retire. He just won't play. He'll
I'm
hold
just
out.
saying he will demand his butt
Well, he
out of
only has 1 year left because it's his 5th year option. So like he
Mhm.
can just be like, okay, like.
But why
I'll
would
keep
he
going.
take a snap for them? Why would he?
No.
try to
I'm
win
not saying
and-
he'll take a snap for them. I mean, he'll be like, I'm going to sit on the bench. I'm not going to take a snap for you. You either cut me, trade me, or I sit on your bench.
Right. He ironically
I'll
does. what
collect
Deshaun
$20 million.
Watson did.
Like I'll sit on your bench and collect 20 mil from you. Okay.
Yeah.
Me too. Hey, y'all need a QB3? Browns, hit me up. The heck?
I'll take that money. I'll take that money.
We'll take $20 million. I can live off $20 million for the rest of my
Hand it
life.
off to Nick Chubb. As long as I can still stream the Packer games while I'm doing
I
it.
met Nick Chubb. He's nice. He's very nice.
Very nice guy. Mm-hmm.
He said,
Have y'all seen the
I've seen your
pictures of
videos.
Saquon?
So what?
Yes.
Yes.
Good God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Do
How
you know
many-
I
what
think
that
for
means?
five for your next punishment, Saquon Barkley erotica.
Five's like, I could do
I
that
think
right
I've
now.
seen
I
some
could
of
do
this
that
stuff.
right now. His glistening chest as he ran from the 20 to the 15 to
Bro,
the
I think
69
I have
yard
seen
line.
some of this stuff on Twitter accidentally. Some Saquon erotica. Yes, it was
I'm just saying
weird.
Just
that
pictures
guy-
of him.
That guy looks like a monster. And the fact that like he's only going to play 4 games still looking like that is incredible.
It's wild.
So-
Yeah, that's
It's
what
wild.
scares me. It's like you can
How
look.
many years does he have left on
incredible.
his contract for you guys?
This is the last year.
It's the last one.
This is his.
Do you think he will be
basically-
returning?
Yeah,
Is the question.
I think they never extended his option, did they?
It's all about this year.
No, they
It's
haven't.
all
No,
about
this is the option year.
Oh, right. They
Basically,
didn't pick up Daniel Jones's option.
They did
Yes.
not pick up. So it's put up or shut up for both of them.
Yep.
If Saquon, even if he puts up say 1,000 yards and 500 receiving, how can you bring him?
They'll
Like
bring-
the rule is though you don't pay a running back a second deal. You just
That
don't.
is the rule.
Christian McCaffrey.
We did it.
If you're
Because you're the
you feel
Cowboys.
Elliott-
That's why.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you
I think
feel
he's going to
dumb.
have a breakout
The
year.
only exception is maybe
Breakout.
Adrian Peterson.
Maybe an
he
acting.
lived up to his second year deal, but
I mean, Henry, he did get hurt, obviously, but like he scored 10 touchdowns and over 900 yards in 8 games this season. So he's still, I think he's lived up to that contract. I think they also got a deal with Henry as well. So, I mean, Aaron Jones, we did the same thing, but he was hurt last year.
Y'all are going to
so.
let Saquon put on one of the best performances of his career outside of the 2 games versus the Dallas Cowboys, just so he can highlight himself for the next team he's going to be playing on.
that is, I see that as being a very real scenario because look, the Giants really improved their offensive line. They just went out and spent a top pick on Evan Neal. They've got Andrew Thomas. Like they've got pieces now, and yeah. And the one and Wandale Robinson, and the one thing that you see now is like once you have a line, do you really need like a top flight back? Like you can, if you're gonna open holes, you just need a guy that can hit that hole. You don't need
Honestly, if you guys used Kadarius Toney properly, you do not need Saquon Barkley. I'm telling you, he can double as a running back, a slot receiver. He is a dynamic athlete. I watched him at Florida. You guys are not using him properly. Cut him or release him. Free Toney.
I mean, when Kenny Galladay is your number 1 receiver, you have to keep Toney. Okay, like you need all the receiving help that you can get, especially when the guy delivering the ball is some guy named Daniel Jones. Some guy.
That's the thing. Like Kadarius Toney, even if he doesn't perform this year, they're not going to release him. They'll still keep him on his rookie deal, and whoever their new franchise QB is next year, if Daniel Jones is not the guy, like they'll have those two and have a nice day.
Let's just stay there for a little bit. Daniel Jones, 5. What do you think happens this year? How does he perform?
You guys want me to
Oh, I
predict
can't
what's
wait to
going
I
see
just
to
want to
happen
know,
with
like,
I can't wait
Daniel
better than
what
Jones?
next
is what
year.
is the Giants
Last year.
fans' mentality right now? Like, what is permeating a Giants fan? Like, what's the temperature? Are you guys hot on him? You cold on him? You want him to succeed? You don't want him to succeed? You're tired?
I mean, if he's on the roster, I want him to succeed. Like, I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's had 4 years to kind of prove me wrong, or three full-time seasons. And I don't.
Do you think he's gotten a fair shot though? He's been behind a terrible offensive line, hasn't really had any receiver options, and the coach is terrible.
Josh Rosen was put in a terrible situation. He's barely hung on to other being rosters. I will say this: when Daniel Jones was hurt, they were awful last year, right? So that gives you some visibility into how he's good. Okay,
he's an athletic dude.
Yeah, super athletic. Pocket presence, super questionable, but he makes defenses have to worry about, is this guy going to break outside and run 80 yards and then trip on the 15?
I know.
So they have to worry about that.
I know the best comparison for Daniel Jones. Here it is. Daniel Jones is the Jason Garrett of quarterbacks. And Jason Garrett was a quarterback. This guy's just average. Okay. And sometimes you will have breakouts where you think this is the guy. You're hopeful. We're winning the Super Bowl. And then he fumbles at the end of his play.
Yeah, and it's unfair as a Giants fan, because the way it worked with Eli was when you came to the questioning, like when at this point with Eli, he had already won a division, he'd already been in the playoffs twice, and he wins a Super Bowl in his 4th year. Like, there was no questioning whether Eli was the man after that. Jones hasn't done anything up to this point that even indicates that he is the guy. So he's got, say he goes out and throws for 4,000 yards, 30 tuds, and 10
Which he might. Honestly, I think he could. Under Dable, a healthy O-line, healthy receivers. If Saquon is healthy, it's a lot of ifs, obviously, but
and none of them are coming true, by the way.
Yeah, so it's possible. It's possible. I want him to
put them in my
succeed.
bottom 5.
I don't want to waste draft picks on quarterbacks. That's
on Gettleman,
starting over.
This is my question to Tree and 5. Who has a better season? Chat, join in as well. Who has a better season? Daniel Jones or Kenny Pickett?
Which
quarterback?
I don't think Pickett plays that much this year, so I'm going to go with Daniel Jones.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're going to get Mitch behind that O-line. You're going to get Mitch.
Yeah, we're going to kiss all the titties. All the titties.
You go out there, and if you don't die, then maybe we'll put in Pickett. But that's what I said about Justin Fields. I was like, the Bears fans were like, we need to start Justin Fields. I was like, no, you don't. You need to save him because he's going to die behind there. Send out Andy Dalton and have him get murdered by your terrible O-line. And look what happened. So
Andy Dalton.
Oh, man.
A blast from the past.
Oh, also, did you guys see Darren Waller's tight end rankings where he ranked himself as number 1?
I did.
I saw it. I didn't look at the rankings.
He's not even the best tight end.
No, he ranked what? Who was number 1? It was
Darren Waller.
Who was number 2 though? It was like Kittle, right, or something. And I don't
Kelsey
know.
Probably.
I just thought it was funny that he ranked himself number 1. Like, if I were to rank the Clickbait Sports crew, definitely me at number 1, and then the rest 100%. Of y'all.
I don't agree with that.
Put Brandon at number 2, maybe Tree at number 3, Scooter at 4, and Tom at 5.
Yes,
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Tom, how would you rank us?
No, clip that. I want that. So when I pass you in subs, I can just play it over and over and over again.
You mean next week? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't find the ranking. I was looking for Darren Waller's list.
It's probably on Twitter.
Oh, look, we have a Brandon Perna in the chat.
Oh, Penna!
Oh, Perna! Why don't you join?
Wow. How's the Avs Pragat parade going? Are you drunk yet?
Mm-hmm.
Darren,
we know where you live.
Rank us.
Rank you?
Rank
Is
all
it by
5
my personal preference who I watch the most?
Oh, okay. I got the list.
I
found it. Here we go.
We're listening to Scooter. Go to Scooter. Ken, say your list.
List. Number 5, Mark Andrews. Kyle Pitts at 4. George Kittle at 3. Travis Kelce at 2. Darren Waller at 1. What are we thinking?
That sounds like the worst list I've ever heard.
Who is the best tight end in the game right now?
Kelce.
I think you go Kelce, yeah.
Yeah. Then Kittle.
Yep.
Then
Waller is top 5, I'd say. But like you make an
5 or 6.
argument for Andrews, like with Baltimore,
Andrews will
like
be
he
up
is
there.
phenomenal. Gesicki is an underrated tight
I'm
end
not
too.
taking Darren Waller over Kyle Pitts. The heck? I'm taking Kyle Pitts
Kyle Pitts
every
has had
time.
1 year.
I don't care. I'm taking Kyle Pitts. What is this?
I love how much you love
Scooter, like
Kyle
yeah,
Pitts.
if Scooter,
Like-
like
People
Scooter
out there,
would
find
take,
somebody who loves you as much as Scooter loves Kyle Pitts and sees the potential in Kadarius Toney.
I'm telling
right.
you, these are
It-
generational players. You will see. Get him off the Giants, and you will.
Can you imagine
his
Kadarius Toney just like fizzles out on the Giants, like the Cowboys
Get
pick
him
him
out of
up for
there.
like a song, and he just bombs and sucks so much.
I'm telling you, I've seen it with my own eyes. The potential is there. They
I
have
mean,
it.
the transition from college to NFL is always flawless, so that makes sense.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's true.
Always is.
It's the
Always
easiest thing to
so
do.
Always.
So-
Yes.
All right. One last thing before we wrap up. Did y'all see Julian Edelman on the I Am Athlete
Yes.
podcast where
Called Jimmy G.
Martellus Bennett called Jimmy G a B word? Can't say it because we're on Scooter's channel, but it starts with B and rhymes with itch.
You said it
And-
before.
Yeah.
You said it
I just-
earlier this show.
I know I said it earlier in the show. Anyways, but now I'm conscious of what I'm saying.
Guys, go to minute 24 and 7 seconds, and you'll know.
Anyways, I thought it was interesting. Like Edelman did not refute what Martellus Bennett said. He didn't call Jimmy G a bi itch, but he did not say that he wasn't.
Itch. You already said the I. Why would you say the itch part? The yes, no. He agreed with him at the end. He was like, "I could see where Marty's coming from," which I was surprised because I thought he was going to actually refute that, but he did not. And yeah,
Maybe
I
he
don't
was jealous of
So
Jimmy
much
G's
for
good
the
looks.
NFL brotherhood. No, but listen, some rivalries run deep. Some people you just don't like. And maybe that's the case for Jimmy G and Julian Edelman. Just a difference of opinions.
Maybe you didn't get him the ball. All right. Any more opinions on that before we wrap up? Brandon did a great video on that, by the way. The Jimmy G is a bitch. What? I mean,
it's BIITCH.
yeah. All right. Shall we do the countdown?
I say B.
Now.
I feel like it's sped up again.
Yeah, it's sped up at the beginning.
Now it's
Grab
now
it
it's
as
slow.
Eminem.
Someone
It's
donate
weird.
$500
19, 17, 16,
to Tom right now.
54.
We're
No.
looking
Tell
for
me,
a
chat, what are we
$500
punishing
investment.
Scooter for? He already read about the Bigfoot sex. And now he's gonna read something probably even worse. I'm sorry, Scooter. It's gonna
From his Rolodex.
it dresses
Now
Bigfoot.
he's
He's
gonna
gonna have to
read
dress as
people-
Bigfoot and read the erotica.
There it is.
I
Hey,
got
I'll take-
$75. I'm out.
Do you know how hot this room is?
Dude, I don't want to hear that. No. I will say right now, there will never be an excuse for any of you about wearing a costume and being hot. I have no AC in this room, and I was sweating balls in a shampoo costume for an hour.
The world's
It did not
smallest
smell good.
violin.
That room has no AC?
No, I got no AC.
What the heck? You do that every week from that
Is
room?
that how you lose weight?
It's nice and cool down here. 49.46. I made no money this week. Let's go, baby.
All right.
go.
Well,
Treat.
I'm at 308.34.
Whoa.
So
We know
I
Scooter
hope
won.
Mr. Scooter Magruder wins the contest because he got a $420 dono.
What was your total?
Win. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You get to read the Bigfoot
We're at
erotica,
450
all the messed up
10
crap.
cents. 450
book.
10 cents.
So if it wasn't for that 420 donation,
You
That's
would've-
all good. Hey. I'll take it.
I think that there should be an added layer of
Let me know.
punishment.
Chat, join
No.
in.
No.
Y'all saw what the punishment was. Y'all
Shouldn't
see
he
what the
have to-
punishments are.
I
Give me a
you
good
know
one.
what?
Get an
Can I-
Avalanche jersey.
Can I pause? Can I just float something by?
Yes.
So it seems that the best parts of our program if you will,
Program. Yeah.
is when we are attacking each other viciously, right? That's
Yes.
usually like the best
Yes.
of the exactly.
Totally.
When you see
Totally.
those things, your eyes bleed.
My eyes burn.
I kind of agree with Sir Random Guy. I think Scooter should do an incredibly detailed ranking of the members of Clickbait Sports, pointing out their flaws, the negatives, and why people are ranked above others, just because it will start a marvelous crap show
It'll
that
be
will
a
probably
war.
last a full hour.
Mhm. Yes. They'll make one friend out of it.
Yes.
And
He just,
4 enemies.
number one is me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm down
That's
for
what I
whatever.
gotta
Y'all want me to put a Bigfoot costume on? I'll do that. You want me to read some more erotic? You want me to rank you guys? I am down for whatever. I got a brief period here before things pick up and college football starts and football
Someone's
season
also saying a
starts. So
Morbius review.
whatever you guys want.
It's Morbin time.
We can
What
get
is
into
it? What do we call here? Is it the Bigfoot costume or the the Clickbait Sports ranking?
I have my vote in, so
What is your vote?
I say the report, just because it'll make good content.
Yeah, I think the report would be a good thing.
I like the report. So we will not be reading erotica next week. We are
No, you can do that still, you know,
Okay.
like because it's like he's just doing excerpts, not reading the whole book.
So
But Scooter-
so after the ranking, read Bigfoot erotica. So
yeah.
everyone
So it's
gets
a double
ranking.
punish. Like
Exactly.
okay, right. He still
So,
has to
Scooter.
make good. I still have to paint the erotica,
Yes.
and then he has to rank us in a book report format.
So Scooter, you got to be vicious and just be like,
Yes.
this is why this person is the worst in Clickbait Sports.
Right.
Like,
Adam talks out of
gotta
turn
go hard.
all the time.
So, like, I know, listen, you got to do the opposite of what Jesus would do, okay? For next week, that report's got to be turning the other cheek. Nay. You're slapping the other cheek. It's a
it would
full
be
backhand.
Oh, he's
WWJ.
slapping.
Are
Clapping
we
those
sure
cheeks.
we want to do this? Like,
Yes.
What would Jesus not
Yes.
do?
Oh, I'm so sure.
are we
Mhm.
sure we want to do
We want to do this. Yes.
I'm
I
so
want to hear
excited.
your unfiltered opinion of me, Scooter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
this? Okay.
Jesus was very blunt with his followers.
He was.
both with the
He was.
word and with a.
He's like,
bludgeoning.
bro,
He turned over those tables in the temple.
Bro,
He was not
I
happy.
will give
Oh, yeah.
you guys all the feedback.
I got you.
All
Don't
the
worry.
feedback.
Okay. All the feedback.
Don't hey look, don't get mad at me. This is what y'all wanted now. Do not get mad at me next week.
we
don't
should make it
say
a
after the
rotation.
Well, we
stream,
got some big deals
Can't
in the
believe you
NBA
said
too.
This about me. Can't believe it.
Aw,
Don't look.
We should have
Chat.
had. We should have
Y'all
had
see this.
turnout.
Okay,
What's
this
going
is
on?
not on me.
Nikola
This is not on
Jokic
me.
has just signed a 5-year, $260 million supermax deal with the
Oh.
Nuggets.
Supermax.
Who?
Jokic.
And Devin Booker has a supermax deal with the Suns.
The
Like
Joker.
Shams is throwing out bombs over these
Prescott.
last 5 minutes.
Who?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott signed a
Bradley
supermax
Beal's got his
deal.
max contract.
Daniel.
Bradley
House?
Beal, yes,
He
he
just
got
gave it to
that.
Ezekiel Elliott again.
Oh wait, Bobby Portis is coming back to the Bucks.
Yeah,
What the
baby. Bobby.
I thought he
All
was
right.
going to the Warriors.
Come out and play.
Yep,
All right,
it's
guys.